Hey everybody, Fallout here with what is a very special interview near and dear to my heart to be joined alongside my good friend Guy Blaze and talking about my true love, my first love, Gears of War esports. It's going to be a blast. But for those that don't know you, Blaze, give us a quick introduction. Tell us about your background.
What's up, everybody? My name is Guy Blaze, Gears of War esports caster. And Gears of War better be your first love, John, okay? We go way back. And that's where I got my start off in esports, competing back in Gears of War when I was a teenager. Eventually, getting some of my early experience casting outside of when I was playing Gears of War, and got an opportunity to do it full time. And we carved our market in esports. And hey, it's been fun ever since.
What a journey it's been. I still remember back being 14, 15 years old, competing against each other, talking all types of crap. I don't think I ever would have imagined us casting and where our careers have gone since
Yeah, we
then.
learned a
So,
lot then. We got a lot of life lessons growing up playing
hard
Gears.
life lessons, the hard way. Yeah, I'm excited to talk through that a little bit about the history and the background. And you know what? It's interesting. Gears of War is almost the most hype esport, the most intense esport with the most passionate people, entertaining,
Hmm.
exciting to watch. That almost no one knows about. I mean, it's not a mainstream esport necessarily, but anyone that watches Gears falls in love with it. I would love to get your take on that. Why is that? Why do you think Gears is the most hype esport that no one necessarily knows about? Just to be candid.
Well, you know what? I think the one thing about it is why people fall in love with the game is because they can see the passion that the players emit, and they can also see the hypeness in the hype in the gameplay. But that is core to what esports used to be as we were growing up, John. Before all the rules came in place, and before we had the fancy headsets. We were just in ballrooms with a bunch of monitors connected in a local area network. We were playing on LAN, and we were competing for a little change out there, but we were giving it our all, and we were talking trash, and we were making best friends out there, and we were bonding with other people. That's what's core to Gears of War, and as it's evolved over the years, that has stuck with us. Now, we've been a part of the early days of esports, back in early 2007, when at the very first major Gears of War event, it was Halo, it was Gears of War. We were one of the first early on. So it's a lot of people in esports now who've been to a Gears of War event that is spread across other different sectors out there as esports as a whole have grown.
In esports predominantly, let's just be honest and call a spade and a spade
Hmm.
here. It's many esports. You look at Counter Strike, you look at a variety of games, Dota, you name it. It's
Hmm.
white guy playing video games at a high level. Gears is the most diverse esport, and that is one of the differentiators in that. Talk to me about why that in itself was so crucial, so important to kind of Gears' growth.
For me, especially coming up, when it came down to it, just people having the opportunity to travel to go to esports events that knew about the esports event back then, and that had the means to be able to get online. It was just very few people that I felt that knew about it that looked like me. So that's why I felt like it was just very few. But for Gears and console esports, it all came together, and it was really nice in that sense.
The reality is, I grew up in a western suburbs of Chicago,
Hmm.
mostly white, affluent community in high school, and I am so grateful. If it wasn't for Gears, I mean, I was the token white boy. You remember when I played with Legacy, with Riz,
Yeah.
with Uno, with Terror? I was the token white boy in the Gears community, and honestly, I to this day am thankful for that experience because
Hmm.
it showed me that there's people completely different than me out there, and it taught me early on how to appreciate different perspectives, different backgrounds. You and I got close like this. You and my mom became close friends.
John, we were the cool kids back then, okay? We were the cool kids of esports. The Gears community, they brought the flavor, they brought the flair. The trash talk was there. The fashion, the flashy plays on the big screen.
Yeah.
A big clutch up happens on the main stage. You were gonna hear that player across the venue. We were the cool kids there, and we had culture in esports at an early age, and that was something that was really special about Gears, and why it was so diverse of its own.
We talked about kind of the early on era of Major League Gaming, and then Gears went through this kind of point where MLG was no longer supporting Gears 3, and all of a sudden the community took over. I mean, you hinted it earlier when you talked about CDN the third and what he did and how he got involved. But during what we called the Hypefestation era, it was a grassroots community effort. Talked about Hypefestation. What was it, and why was it so instrumental and so important? Why was it so exciting?
Well, so what made Hypha Station so special is that when in its inception, Gears didn't have esports events anymore. It was kind of dropped from the MLG circuit after 3 years. Gears of War 3 had just dropped, and it was this brand new title. We was excited. We already had 3 to 4 years of an esports community already being grown, but we just didn't have an area to play. So community members came together and they created Hypefestation. And so, we went off into, I think we were off in Long Island for Hype 1, and we went off towards maybe Philly towards Hype 2. But, it was these community ran events and everybody showed up. Okay. That we put up the prize pools. We found our sponsors. We got the monitors, and the community came together to hustle to create this awesome event. And then that ran for a few years throughout most of the span of Gears of War 3. It was Hypefestation ran events. And then Gears UE dropped, and you saw the EGL circuit come to fruition as the coalition announced a new trilogy of Gears of War games. The esports started to blow up again, and then we started to come back to the forefront of esports. But the Hypefestation days of Gears of War 3, that was community ran, and that was one of the building blocks of what makes the Gears community so special happened during that time.
Talk to me about some of the players and personalities that have come out of Gears of War over the years, and why Gears just tends to breed personalities, it seems.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, some of the big personalities that came out of Gears of War, you got people like Nick Merckx, you got CDN, you got players like High Distortion, Camille's. The thing is that as the Gears community, we have always, had these big, bold personalities. Is that, life outside of Gears, these guys have flourished, and they have blown up to become some of the biggest streamers and biggest personalities out there in esports.
On that note, too, Gears is obviously notorious with trash talk. Talk to me about some of the most hype trash talk moments you remember in your career, and some of the best trash talkers you've seen come out of Gears.
Oh man, some of the best trash talking moments I've seen come out. Oh, this, my favorite one has to be Praise in New Orleans when he's on the main stage and talking about his win, and then the camera pans off, and the opponent in which he's talking about, you can see him walking away as Praise is win. Bye, get out of here, yada yada. And the whole venue is just like, oh my god, this is amazing. They came out here, they beat him, and it was a nice moment. Everybody had their own way, and they find some way on land to let you know that they're better than you, that they just beat you in this 1v1. Rather, they were extremely vocal, or they just gave you this type of death stare. That was the beauty about, especially about esports in the early days.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think one of my favorite clips of all time has to be Explosive, the bank account clip. Probably one of the most hilarious trash talk clips of all time to ever be posted.
He said, put your bank account on it. All right. He says, right now, you ain't going to win this. As other esports change and try to become more mainstream and become more franchise, and they become more buttoned up, Gears is always going to stick to the core of what esports began with. Okay. Of, people coming together, having fun, competing for a prize pool, and just letting their raw energy and their personality showcase how much of that as they want to show.
You started to talk a bit about kind of the most recent era of Gears esports. And those that maybe aren't aware, talk to me a bit more about that. After Microsoft acquired the rights from Epic Games to Gears of War, developed Gears Ultimate Edition 4 and 5, announced the Gears Pro Circuit in 2016. Give me some detail about what that's looked like over the past few years.
With Gears of War UE and Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 5, we've had some of the biggest seasons that we've ever had in the esport. And so that has been something that's been really special to revive the esport, bring it new life. It has came a long way, but I think the esport has a lot of great years ahead of itself. And now, as we're coming out of a COVID season, which I feel like kind of benefit a lot for all esports, okay? Because gamers is going to sit at home and watch video games, right? And so as we come out this season, we've got some of our best game modes coming back into the esport. That's Execution. That's King of Hill / Control. And we also got Escalation, as polished as it's ever been before. And we got this 3-map cycle coming out that's kind of similar to what Call of Duty's using now. And that's going to be exciting for the fans to watch. The game is the best it has ever looked. It's the most fun to play. Content creators are going crazy. And so as we enter this new season, this split 3 of the esport heading into summer, it's just going to keep going up. We just had 30K viewers for our finals. We wasn't even on front page anywhere. It was just people word of mouth hearing about Gears esports coming through, want to watch some damn good esports.
People in Mexico are fanatical about Gears of War. Talk to me about Gears of War in Mexico. Why is it so popular there? And for those that maybe don't know, what level of a tier of esport is Gears of War in Mexico?
It is S tier. Okay. It is S tier. Now, I don't know if it's second to, maybe Counter Strike or maybe the fighting games out there. But it is definitely at the top echelon because when we go out there, we sell out venues. All right. For Gears Esports, fans come out making signs. Half of them sometimes don't understand English, but they're going to come out there and they're going to show up big for their teams. And they want to come out there and they want to even meet us. And it blows my mind because I'm like, you want to meet me? And they like, yo, we've been watching you cast this Gears of War 3, okay? We just want to come out here and have a good time and meet some of our favorite people in the community. And so they show us nothing but love when we go down there. We see big numbers in the US, but we never see numbers like it is in Mexico.
It's probably the only place I will ever crowd surf in my life. That's probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Mexican fans were grabbing at my feet. I thought they were going to attack me, and they told me to jump. Next thing, crowd surf.
They did not let you Fallout. Okay,
they had my back.
Felt the safest. That's probably the safest you ever felt in air. Because you successfully pulled that one off. Okay? Yeah. We're not going to let you fall.
Top 3 experience of my life, by the way. It's like a bucket list thing, right? So you started talking a little bit about the future of Gears and kind of where things are at now. You talked about a bit about some of the changes made to the game itself. But talk a little bit about kind of where Gears is at from an esports perspective now and what the future looks like.
Where Gears Esports is now, I feel like it's the best it has been over the last 2 years or so, okay? At the launch of Gears of War 5, it wasn't one of the best Gears of War titles that we had out there, and we got to be honest about that. But update after update after update, it has gotten better. It has gotten more sound. And with this last Op 7 that has dropped, and with the announcements that we're going into our next portion of the circuit with execution, control, and escalation, this is the best version of Gears 5 that we ever had. And it's arguably, I would say, it's the better version of Gears. It's better than Gears 4 as well. So with this Gears that we have and with UMG running the circuit, they have been doing a fantastic job with the broadcast. We have Gears broadcast 5 days throughout the week. There is something when it comes down to Gears Esports to be able to watch. And it's been a blast, and viewership numbers have just been skyrocketing. We had one of the highest numbers we ever had in our last finals, and then we're moving on to a better season coming up this next split. So it's only up from here, and I'm honestly excited because we are about to have some awesome moments out there. I'm ready for the gameplay. I'm ready for roster mania, and I'm ready to see who is going to be the next top Gears of War esports squad of this next era.
Certainly a great future going into 2022. And Blaze, as we wrap up here, any final words or thoughts about the future of Gears for anyone that's watching that maybe has watched Gears of War before? Any words to them that you'd leave them with?
All I would like to say is that come by and check out a stream, okay? Twitch.tv/UMG Gaming. Come stop by on a Tuesday, check out the Pro League. Go to gears.gg. Go and be able to see our broadcast schedule throughout the week. And learn more about the esport because we're having a good time over here and we're welcoming to everybody, and we are definitely unique amongst everybody else. So come over here and see if we're the right flavor for you.
You hit the nail on that. Most diverse, most welcoming, most passionate, most hype community in esports. I'll argue that till I drop. Blaze, thanks so much for joining me as always. Much appreciated. And we'll catch everyone that's watching here in the next year.
Peace out.